Hello YouTube Vinyl community, I'm Jeff Paris and welcome to the Vinyl Record Info channel. And today we got a cool one because I'm going to go over what I think are some of the most influential albums of all time. Now, this topic is going to be, it's highly debatable, it's most influential, that's a tough thing to pin down really, but there's some obvious ones, but there's some that, might disagree with, or you think that I should have included. So please let me know in the comments. Let me know what I missed or what I should have included, or what you think does not belong on the list. But I got a cool list here, and I'm going to start with one of the obvious ones, and that is Led Zeppelin self-titled, or Led Zeppelin 1. This goes without saying, this is one of the most influential rock albums of all time. Hugely influential in the early 70s hard rock sound, right? This came out in the late 60s, and you can hear Led Zeppelin in a lot of bands from the early 70s, a lot. And there's nothing wrong with that. This record is awesome. I love Led Zeppelin. I have every Led Zeppelin album. I love all of them. And this one's great. But that early 70s hard rock sound, just wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for this band right here, coming out in the late 60s. So absolutely fantastic. Obviously you guys know about Led Zeppelin, but without them, I think music would be a lot different. Alright, another kind of obvious one. This is Black Sabbath, self-titled. This is an original press on that Green Warner Brother label. But yeah, everybody knows this is the birth of metal. This is proto metal for sure, but every metal or like really hard rock, doom rock type band mimicked this. This is kind of like the start of it all. It's just an iconic album. Everybody knows this one. This is just incredible stuff. Artwork is so cool on this. I think if you ever look at the album Zior, it's a pretty rare hard rock album. It's got like a similar kind of vibe to it. I think it was the same artist that did both. I just like the cover art. I like what the artist does with his album covers, and this is really cool. I love Black Sabbath. I don't think I have every Black Sabbath album. I have a good chunk of them. The ones I like anyway, I have. But yeah, again, hugely influential in metal going forward. All right, so here is a really cool one. This is Rodriguez, Cold Fact. Man, I love this album. This is the first studio album by Sixto Rodriguez. I've talked about him a million times. This is a first U.S. press on that Sussex label. Again, just incredible story. If you have not seen Searching for Sugar Man, go watch that documentary. But in South Africa, he was like the voice of the anti-apartheid movement, and hugely influential in that country, and kind of the scene and the protesting, and this record was kind of there for it all, right? People always say in South Africa he was bigger than Elvis, he was bigger than the Beatles. Everybody had this album in South Africa. Every radio station, every household had this album. Hugely influential, and nobody knew anything about him because the government back in apartheid times was very restrictive. So it's very, very difficult. It was very difficult in South Africa to get outside information. So nobody knew anything about him. They just had this record, and I'll let you watch the documentary because I don't want to spoil it for you. But yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. The voice of a generation in South Africa, unbelievable. All right, this is the Beatles, Revolver. What's to say that hasn't already been said about this one? Revolutionary in the psych world. Really kicked off the period of time where the Beatles were really into psychedelic music. Hugely influential in a ton of bands to get into psych. A lot of mainstream bands got into psych because of this album, like the Rolling Stones and things like that. But man, absolutely unbelievable stuff. You know, this is a huge departure from, you know, the kind of poppy rock Beatles were doing before. You know, taboo lyrics, you know, very psychedelic themes and instruments, and man, this record is fantastic and hugely influential in the psych scene. One of my favorite genres, as you guys know. Okay, so this is Velvet Underground and Eco. I showed this record a bunch of times. This is my first U.S. press on Verve. It's the torso cover that everybody is looking for. I got a little banana on there still, which is really, really awesome. To find this in any condition with the torso is so hard. I mean, these things, every year they skyrocket in price. And it sucks because the cover art, everything about the packaging is so cool. And if you can't find one or don't want to pony up, get a reissue because the music is unbelievable. Very, very experimental, hugely influential. People often say that this is like a huge precursor to punk that came much later, but you know, just one of the biggest experimental records ever, or most influential, not biggest. Like Brian Eno said. He's like a famous, you know, UK musician and producer. I think he said like only 30,000 copies of this. Only 30,000 people only bought 30,000 copies of this record, but everybody who bought it started a band. You know, so that's how influential it is. And yeah, I mean, I love it. I mean, this is. Some people say it's an acquired taste because of how experimental it is, but I don't see how this couldn't be for everybody. I love this record. It's so good. All right, the next one is the Beach Boys, Pet Sounds. This is an original first U.S. press stereo. Yeah, I mean, just incredibly influential. Again, in the psych sphere, just like Revolver was. This is like another hugely influential album in psych. Also, like, this was very, very influential because of like the very complex arrangements and really using the studio as like a technique to really bring out your album. You know, using different technologies and arrangements, and you know, this record inspired the Beatles to make Sgt. Pepper's, which is like a kind of another deviation from the Beatles' normal stuff. But yeah, I mean, basically, you know, using the studio as another band member to really highlight the album and bring things out of it that, you know, normally you wouldn't. Hugely influential in how people started recording music after this. So cool. I really like the Beach Boys a lot, and they also have a very fascinating story. You know, you can watch movies and documentaries about them all day long. Okay, so this is Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. This wouldn't be a most influential list without this record on it. Again, hugely influential. You know, one of the very, very early, what we call a concept album, right? Where all of the tracks and the arrangements on the track kind of meld together and tell one story and interconnect with each other. You know, this is one of the very early examples of that. Very, very experimental in the arrangements and everything. All, you know, the instruments, very experimental with the different types of instruments they use on this album. But yeah, in the concept album world, this is, you know, right up there. Hugely influential, great stuff. Obviously, everybody knows that one. All right, this is Joni Mitchell Blue. This is a first U.S. press on Reprise. You know, just hauntingly beautiful lyrics and singing. Heavy influences on future singer-songwriters. I mean, this is kind of like one of the pinnacle, you know, records in singer-songwriter land. Same thing with Sixto Rodriguez, though. I mean, to me, he's like, you know, one of the best singer-songwriters ever. But Joni Mitchell, obviously, way more mainstream, so way more influential here in America on all future singer-songwriters in that genre, the folk singer-songwriter genre. Hugely influential, awesome album. And the last one I'm going to show you is a great one. This is Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison. This is Johnny Cash's first live album. You know, he's put out dozens and dozens. I don't even know how many. 30 records. I don't know. This is his first live album, so that in itself is very influential. But in country music, you know, you can't get more influential than Johnny Cash. I mean, you hear his voice in so many other country singers. This was recorded obviously live at Folsom Prison in California. And, you know, he's kind of the face of the outlaw country genre, right? I mean, you know, the Highwaymen, that type of thing. I love that country. You know, I love that period of time in country music. Yeah, this is fantastic. This is the first U.S. press on that Columbia 2 Eyes and the Shrink. This is a beautiful copy, but, man, you know, the live aspect of this album, you know, knowing that it's at a prison and, like, it's very rambunctious and, like, you know, a lot of the hooting and hollering in the background and him talking. And he came out and did an encore and he wasn't really supposed to. Hugely influential. He did another one live at San Quentin. This is a first U.S. press on that 2 Eye Columbia again. You know, this is in a Shrink with the hype stickers and stuff. Can't get much clearer than this. You know, another awesome one along the same veins as Folsom Prison, but you know, he was hugely influential in country music, and man, that's great stuff. So that's going to do it for this one. It's going to be kind of a quick one, but you know, that's my take on the most influential albums of all time. There's a lot more, obviously, but I think, you know, that kind of encapsulates a lot of different genres and, you know, different concepts for different albums. And, you know, you can hear everybody that I just talked about in other bands throughout the 70s and even up to today. So I appreciate it. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about it. Leave a thumbs up for me. And if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe. Just do it, you know. I try to put out a video every week. So, all right, let's go do it. Thanks.